JAX. Here's a little well-known secret. Sure as there's the sky above.
Nothing could be any sweeter
Than dancing with the one you love. When life is like a sour note, here's a happy antidote. Come to where the party never ends, 'cause everybody's jumping at JAX.
To that video. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Campus JAX. Any first-timers here tonight? All right. Welcome. We're so happy you're here. As musicians and artists, we love you, especially when you pay to come see us play. So thank you so much for being here. No, truly, it's what keeps us alive. So we're glad you're here. There is a lot going on at Campus JAX. There is music here 6 nights a week. I'm going to tell you about a little bit of it. Mainly, we're going to focus on jazz because that's our Thursday Steamers JAX at Jazz situation. There is something called the Jazz Pass. Do you know what this is? Anybody here have a Jazz Pass? Yes, yes. You can find out more information on the website, campusjax.com. But basically, you buy a bunch of the shows, and then you get a couple for free or one for free, depending on how many you purchase. Jack can explain this so much better than me. But it is some savings, and you're supporting us, and it's just a really fun, beautiful way to spend all your Thursdays, basically, and some Tuesdays. And Fridays or Sundays also.
Usually when I ask somebody, do you want to come hear some jazz, they say pass. So that's what I thought it was.
Oh,
yeah. But
no,
now I get it.
it's not the same
It's a great
thing.
idea.
There's a whole different
That's
kind
a
of
great idea.
passing
Yeah.
on the jazz. This is a different kind of jazz pass. I have been told that there was a Neil Diamond show coming up. It's not actually Neil, but it's a tribute band. And it sold out. Wow. And so they added another one. So now there's another one. If you want to go, it's on a Friday night. Check out the website for tickets. Unfortunately, you have missed the window for July Jazz Pass, but August is wide open. So a lot going on in August for the Jazz Pass. Tony Guerrero is going to be here again on August, I don't know, I can't even see it, 6th, I think. Just look it up. But in July, you can still get tickets to these shows without a Jazz Pass, a pass to the jazz. And those shows...
If you decide to pass on the Jazz Pass.
Don't.
Right.
Like, don't pass on the Jazz Pass. Roberto Gambarini and Tamir Hendelman, they're kind of a big deal. Or they're both big deals, I guess. They are going to be here Tuesday, July 21st. Shortly after that, Thursday, July 23rd, April Varner, young, extremely lovely talent from New York, is going to be here. I want to tell you, though, a little bit about July 16th. That is 2 weeks from tonight.
Hey, we have a time limit up here.
Oh, I'm getting to it. Don't you worry. Matt Johnson, over here, he's on the drums. Give us a little wave. I was going to say wave, but that was much better. Matt Johnson and the new Jet Set, which features songs from the Disney Songbook, is going to be here. This is one of my favorite shows. I have been to all of them. And I love them so much. I'm a total groupie. Normally, Adrienne De Leon, who is also one of my absolute favorite female vocalists, sings with them. However, she can't be there on the 16th, and so I get to do it. So I'm really thrilled. It's very nostalgic. I grew up in Anaheim, which is Disneyland.
And the beautiful part is, tickets are on sale. They can open their phones right now and purchase tickets for July 16th.
July 16th, 2 weeks from tonight. I don't know who that is, but we're going to be here on July 16th.
Do I look bored right now?
Are you bored?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
This is exciting.
Thursday nights are typically reserved for exceptional, world-class jazz music and musicians, which is why you're here tonight. And tonight is no different. We are featuring this talented group of fellas, starring right there in the middle, Senor Tony Guerrero. Welcome him now to the stage. Please play us some songs. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you, Crystal. So tonight, as advertised, is a little show we're calling Tunes and Tales. And this is the second night we've done this. And the reason I wanted to do this the original time was because there's so many great older artists that sometimes get forgotten about or haven't been introduced to an audience. Like, you know, everybody knows Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong and you know, Frank Sinatra. Like, everybody knows those names. But there's a lot of great jazz players and musicians and legendary artists that sometimes get forgotten by the general public. And so this is our chance to kind of pay tribute to some of them and some of the songs that made them famous. And that's what we're going to do tonight. And we're going to open up with a song that was recorded by a cornet player. So this is a cornet. This particular instrument is about 75 years old. And not quite. And there was a young trumpet player who was born in Davenport, Iowa, named Bix Beiderbecke. And he was born right around the turn of the century, only lived to be about 28 years old, but came to prominence right around the same time as a young Louis Armstrong, and was noted for his very lyrical, expressive way of playing, and was one of the early legends, and unfortunately had a troubled life and didn't live very long. But we'd like to open with Baby Won't You Please Come Home as a little tribute to Bix Beiderbecke. Thank you very much. Tim, you got that one photo I asked you for? I found out today about Bix Beiderbecke, that if you were interested, that's Bix back there. But did we lose Tim? There he is. His childhood home is for sale in Davenport, Iowa right now. So if you want to own Bix Beiderbecke's home, that's it right there. A little fixer-upper, but I'm thinking we could all go in on it together. All right, so one of the things for tonight is that I've asked each of the guys to pick an artist they would like to pay homage to, and to pick a song and to talk to you about who that is. So it's not going to be just me talking tonight. It's going to be all the guys. And I would like to now introduce our trombone player, Mr. Ben Devitt, who is going to do this next tune. And I'm going to ask you to stand since you're going to be singing this one.
All righty. Well, folks, I chose some tunes by Jack Teagarden, and part of the reason for that is because he actually had very short arms, which resonates with me. He had such short arms that he actually started playing a lot more lyrically than trombonists at the time. They had been doing a lot of the tailgating stuff, but he opted for a lot shorter stuff. So he was known for playing a lot more lyrical and quick music than most of the trombones, which pulled him out of the rhythm section, because at the time he'd sort of been functioning as a comping musician, playing just a couple of chord tones at a time, and became more of a soloist, which is kind of great. And also, at the time, he was born in 1905 in Texas, and he moved to New York around 1940. He actually was one of the few musicians at the time who was willing to work with and cross the lines into the bands with the colored bands and the white bands, and there was still a lot of segregation at the time. So he was one of the pioneers that was willing to cross the lines, and he played with, it didn't really matter who he played with. And so because he had such a soulful voice, and he was a soloist as a trombonist, and he was willing to play with everyone, he kind of became a favorite. And he actually recorded a lot with Bix Beiderbecke and with, who was it? And who is it? This guy, Louis Armstrong, yeah. A little bit of he actually became very close friends with Louis Armstrong, and he wrote a couple of songs, and they were lifelong friends after about 1940 when they met, and he joined into their band, into Louis' all-star band. And so he wrote some songs, and he sang some songs, he played some trombone, and I'm going to now sing a song called Meet Me Where They Play the Blues that he wrote, and it's sort of an homage to how you feel when you're brokenhearted and sad, like what do you do? Where do you go? So this is Meet Me Where You Play Where They Play the Blues by Jack Teagarden. Let's see how it goes.
Old Ben Short Arms Devitt right here.
I gotta cry, a broken heart, and how do I mend it? Sorry about that.
What? We need to start again? You lost your lyrics, didn't we?
Sorry, I lost my thing.
Here's letter A. 2. 1.
I got a heart that's broken hearted. How do I mend it? There we go. I gotta cry, and Jack, you started. How do I end it? But if you're feeling gloomy, come a running to me. Meet me where they play the blues. People have said you've seen you dance in hideaway places. People have said you find romance in other embraces. But if your mood is dreamy and you care to see me, meet me where they play the blues. I said flirt with a tear, are common round here, and misery loves company, they say. So they linger till dawn while the trumpet wails on, hoping you'll happen my way. I'm getting tired of sipping wine and watching it bubble. How did our dreams go down the line and wind up in trouble? But honey, if you're learning, there's a love still burning. Meet me where they play the blues. Tear are common round here, and misery loves company, they say. So they linger till dawn while the trumpet wails on. Wait, Tony. Hoping you'll happen my way. I'm getting tired of sipping wine and watching it bubble. How did our dreams get out of line and wind up in trouble? But honey, if you're yearning, there's a flame still burning. Meet me where they play. You'll find another way. So meet me where they play the.
Ben Devitt, Gold Jack Teagarden song. I'd like to introduce you now to our woodwind specialist for the evening. Please say hello to Mr. Jason Fabus to introduce this next tune. Let's get him the microphone here.
Good evening. It's great to see some new folks out here too. People keep figuring out about this place, which is a cool thing. And so, yeah, thank you and welcome to our newcomers. The story that I'm going to say for this one is actually a little bit more about myself, if you don't mind, guys. They probably don't know this, but truth be told, when I studied saxophone way back when, it was in the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis, and it was entirely a classical degree, no jazz. I studied with the great Eugene Rousseau, and when I first got to that school, I didn't know a thing about classical saxophone. I thought I knew a few things about jazz, but that was also not true. And after the 4.5 years, I finally got an appreciation for the saxophone as a whole. Eugene Rousseau was an amazing teacher. He studied with the great Marcel Mule, widely regarded as the best saxophone player of all time from Paris, France. And a lot of saxophone players studied classically. You weren't doing jazz lessons. You learned jazz in the jazz clubs. And the true thing could be said about Johnny Hodges, who played from 1928 all the way until the end with the Duke Ellington Jazz Band. And this is a song that is, I would say, a lesser known tune, but it was a big feature for Johnny Hodges. And for me, it allows me to, I guess, go more into my classical mode. All I'm going to do on this one is play the beautiful melody, and then we'll let Chris Dawson take a solo. And that's how we'll do it. Right on. Enjoy this. This one is written by the great Billy Strayhorn for the Duke Ellington Orchestra. It's called A Flower is a Lovesome Thing.
I don't even have to sing it.
Am I on that front line? Yeah. Okay. Making sure it works. 1, 2, 3.
Jason, Fabus. A Flower is a Lovesome Thing by the great Billy Strayhorn, Johnny Hodges recording. All right, I'm going to turn it over now to our good friend on the drums back there. Please say hello to Mr. Matt Johnson.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Continued gratitude for being with us here tonight. Jazz here at least every Thursday and Sunday with other types of music 6 nights a week. The mandate from Tony was a song with a drum solo, and that was actually his original mandate from when we played the last version of Tales and Tunes and Tales. And this song was a song that I just had recently become aware of because I was invited to learn it for another act that I was working with. And it was, I don't know if he wrote it, but it featured drummer William Randolph Cole, more formally known as Cozy Cole. And he was born in 1909. He was an American jazz drummer who worked with Cap Calloway and Louis Armstrong, amongst many, many others, and he led groups of his own. The song Topsy was written by Edgar Battle and Eddie Durham and was first recorded by Count Basie and his orchestra in 1937. It became a #1 pop hit for Benny Goodman in 1938. In 1958, drummer Cozy Cole recorded it and issued it as a 2-part single. The A-side, Topsy 1, reached number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's so funny thinking of old-timey jazz tunes on the Billboard Hot 100, but it made it all the way to 27, and the B-side, Topsy Part 2, reached number 3 on the Hot 100, and the #1 song on the Billboard Rhythm and Blues chart, where it stayed there for 6 weeks. I was drawn to this song because of its really cool kind of Gene Krupa tom-tom kind of groove. But it also had this secondary part. I could tell that tom-tom part was played by with 2 hands, but it also had this kind of halfway in between straight and swung cowbell part. Clearly played by somebody else, so I accepted the challenge of playing both parts simultaneously. That's right. The other thing about this song that was very inviting, it had the melody is played by a Hammond B3 organ. It was a very spooky kind of exotic vibe, and also Cozy Cole soloed in really structured 4- and 8-bar phrases, so it made it easy. Even for the uninitiated to follow his musical ideas. Let's see if I can make some musical ideas happen with my friends here. Ladies and gentlemen, as Cozy says himself at the beginning of this recording, Topsy Part 2.
That's Matt Johnson right there with Topsy #2. Now, the three horn players are going to lay out on this next song, and we're going to turn it over to the trio behind us. And allow me to introduce to you Mr. Chris Dawson, who's been playing piano tonight, to talk about this next little tune right
Hello,
here.
thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's good to play for you all. And I just, on a slight side note, I actually happen to know that there are 5 musicians, one from Chicago and a few from New York, that are pooling together, and they are actually buying the Bix Beiderbecke house.
Oh, wow.
In Davenport.
Takes 5 jazz musicians to buy a low-budget house. Yeah,
it does. They all chipped in, and they wanna. They said the outside of it doesn't look great, but the inside is actually in very good condition, and they want to potentially turn it into some kind of museum. There's also a Bix Beiderbecke festival, a very big one in Davenport, and it could also be a venue where people could play sets there. They've got some ideas for it. So I just wanted to share
That's
that.
great.
So, you know, for what it's worth. Or they'll just turn it into an Airbnb.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
This next piece is called Celia, and it was written by a legendary giant bebop jazz pianist named Bud Powell, who came up in the 1940s, first with Cootie Williams, and then he eventually found his way to working with Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, and was highly influential in developing the more modern jazz style in the 1940s of bebop, kind of switching from swing music in the 30s to this more adventurous, wild style of jazz that came to be. And this song is called Celia, written for his daughter that was born in 1948, because this was recorded originally in 1949. And Celia, Celia was actually originally named Cecilia, the patron saint of music, Cecilia, and it was just shortened to Celia. And she turned, after her father died, she became a real pioneer of getting his music out there. She found a lot of recordings and tapes and things that people had never heard. And she actually got one of those tapes. It was a live 1962 broadcast. And she got it into the hands of Chick Corea, and Chick Corea actually put it out on his label. I think it's called Stretch Records. And this is a lovely tune, and I think that's all I have for you. Please enjoy Celia. Thank you.
Chris Dawson at the piano on a song by Bud Powell. Ceiling. Welcome back to the stage, Tony Guerrero, Jason Fabus, Ben Devitt.
Chris Dawson. And we've introduced everybody tonight except our bass player. Please say hello to Mr. David Miller. Right now, folks, you will hear from David soon, but right now we are entering our Fats Waller rock block. We've got 3 tunes we'd like to do from Fats Waller. One of them you may be familiar with. 2 of them you most assuredly will not be familiar with. So let me give a little story. So Fats Waller, first of all, not an unknown name, to be sure. I mean, he's one of the greatest songwriters of this era. I don't think he lived to be 40. I think he was maybe 39 when he passed in 1943. But he wrote some of the all-time great classics like Ain't Misbehavin', Honeysuckle Rose. What are some other ones he wrote? He wrote a lot. And there's one particular song, an instrumental of his, that we're going to do right now, and this is a song that he recorded in 1942. Now, when you're in a recording session, well, let me backtrack a little bit. So I have a dear friend in New York, and she called me one day, and she said, "Hey, Tony, my husband his family has this box of handwritten music from somebody named Fats Waller. And we're thinking maybe we should try to sell it or something." And I said, "Well, what's on it?" And she said, "We don't know. It's been sitting in their family's closet for about 60 years. So the story goes that her husband's father was an attorney back in the 50s, and one of his clients was Fats Waller's son. And Fats, who had died in 43, and so in the 1950s, his son needed legal help and couldn't pay his bills, so he gave him a box of his dad's music. Put it in a closet, and that's where it sat for the next 60 years or so. And so I said, "Well, please don't sell it until we know what's on it." And so she sent me the box, and in it were 143 sheets of music. And I spent the next 2 years curating this collection of music. I expected I'd find things I was familiar with, but there wasn't a single piece of music in there I had ever heard before. And so I started consulting with Fats Waller experts, of which there are not many alive anymore, but there were a few at the time. This was back in 2012 or so. And there were a few still alive at the time, and so I was sending files around as far as, Florida, Thailand even, like just these people who had been scattered, England, and trying to identify this music. Now, we figured out that most of this collection was from a time when he was writing what he was hoping to be a Broadway musical called Early to Bed. and I believe it had one night on stage, something like that. And this was these were all the sheets of music he was using to write that show. These were his scraps of ideas. And so we were able to identify almost everything in it. There were, however, 2 songs that were unfinished and were not a part of that musical, and none of the experts could identify these. So as far as anybody in the world knows, these were completely unknown Fats Waller melodies. And so we are going to play 2 of those for you tonight. One of them we have played a couple times live, so that doesn't count as a premiere. The other one nobody's ever heard, and I'll explain it as we do that. But the first one we'd like to do is a classic song of his that was a big hit for him called the Jitterbug Waltz. And this particular song, so when you're this is what I was going to say earlier, when you're in the studio, you know, all the musicians have a piece of music in front of them. Now this song starts off with Fats actually at the organ, not at the piano, playing the melody. But the second time through the song, there's this beautiful alto sax player, I don't know who it was, but he plays the melody for the rest of the song. And in that box of music was the actual chart that the sax player used to record in the studio. So this is the piece of music that he used as he was in the recording studio playing that song. Now, I was going to have Jason actually just read this, but the lights are going to hit the glass, so we're just going to have to read off of there. But this is the sheet music from that recording session. So we'd like to now play for you Jitterbug Waltz. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. Chris Dawson and Jason Fabus. That's Waller's Jitterbug Waltz. So one of the pieces of music, by the way, I will tell you that that collection, once we figured everything out, it now sits in the Library of Congress. Rather than selling it, they decided to donate it to the Library of Congress. So except for 2 sheets that they allowed me to keep as a reward for the work I put into it, and that's that and the next one we're going to do. So one of the other songs, I mentioned that there were 2 melodies in there, and I couldn't keep everything I wanted to, but one of them was another waltz that he had written, and this particular one, like I said, it was unfinished, so there was a good chunk of what the song was supposed to be, but then some unfinished parts, and so I took it upon myself to finish it for him and tried my best to write fill out the rest of the song in his style as much as I could. And my rule is that I don't intentionally tell anybody which parts I wrote, because then you can't say, well, his part was great and that part stunk. So if you don't know, if you can't tell, then I did a good job. So this is another waltz, if you don't mind, another song in 3/4, and this is called Fats Waltz. And we're going to approach it the same way that Fats might have, and we're going to ask Chris to play the melody the first time, and then we'll take it over. Sure, yeah. I only wish we were all rollers. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Fats Waltz. Now, I don't have a title for it. He didn't put a title on the sheet music, so I just call it Fats Waltz. And that is, that song, again, unfinished by Fats, finished by me, but I have played that live a couple of times. But now, folks, I don't know if you saw any of the stuff I was posting on Facebook, but we would like to now offer you the world premiere, never before heard, before tonight, of a Fats Waller song with lyrics that our good friend Jason Fabus is going to stand up and sing for you. This one, oh, here you go. This particular song actually appeared in this collection twice, but with two different titles. And once and one of the sheets had lyrics on it, and I took the title from those lyrics instead of the one that didn't have lyrics because it was a similar title, and I figured this is probably where he ended up. So this is a song called Could I Have You Alone? First time ever in the history of mankind.
No pressure. All right. Thanks, Tony.
2, 1, 2, 3.
Forgive me for reading lyrics. It's a premiere. Here we go. Now I won't promise cars or fine diamond rings for those things I do not own. Will you just give the answer? Could I have you alone? I've searched everywhere, I've gotten nowhere, been like a rolling stone. And now that I have found you, could I have you alone? Wondering, wondering, would I ever find a love to call my own? All alone by the phone, mocking me with nothing but a dial tone. Then one lucky day, you came my way, a love that I've never, never known. So now that I have found you, could I have you alone? Yes, I'm wondering, and I'm wondering, would I ever find a love to call my own? Searching high, looking low, would ever be a love that I could know? Then one lucky day, you came my way, from out of the great unknown. So now that I have found you, could I have you alone? So now that I have found you, could I have you alone? Thank you. We did it.
We did it.
Thank you, Tony, for writing that out.
It's a cute little song, right?
It sure is. That's a keeper.
Could have been a big hit for him.
Oops.
Now it's just going to be a big hit for me as I claim all the publishing right now. Can you tell which parts I wrote? You can't, can you? No, you can't. No, we can't tell, but they suck. All right. So at this point, folks, I would like to turn the night over to our bassist, Mr. David Miller, to introduce his celebrity guest.
Hello.
Celebrity ghost.
Everyone. See if it's going to come up here. There he is. Mr. PC himself, Paul Chambers, is a big-time hero of mine. Paul Chambers was and is still a quintessential and important part of jazz music from the 50s and the 60s. He really revolutionized the approach to the bass, both with his walking style, his sound, and his incredible dexterity playing solos, both pizzicato, which means to pluck, and also arco, which is with the bow. And a little bit about Paul Chambers. He was born in 1935 in Pittsburgh, but he actually grew up in Detroit, and which has an extremely rich heritage for jazz music. He grew up in the same town as the Jones brothers, Elvin, Thad, and Hank Jones. His cousin, Doug Watkins, was a great bass player who actually was the bass player in the original Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. Doug Watkins, and had an incredible career, wound up playing on over 300 albums, and unfortunately was killed in an automobile accident when he was 26 years old. So that's unfortunately cut his life short. But Paul Chambers was very musical. He grew up in Detroit, and he started out playing the baritone horn, which is like a euphonium. And shortly thereafter that, he switched and started playing the upright bass, the double bass. And he started really getting into the jazz at that time, around 15 years old. Said he really started listening a lot to Charlie Parker and Bud Powell and the bebop musicians at that time. His personal hero was a guy named Jimmy Blanton, who was the bass player in Duke Ellington's orchestra back in the late 30s, early 40s. And actually, the last time we did this, I did Jimmy Blanton. I did this song called Jack the Bear. Anyways, he was a big influence on Paul Chambers, and he went to a school called Cass Technical School in Detroit, which just happened to be like this incredible place where these amazing jazz musicians, Kenny Burrell was a classmate of his, Donald Byrd, the great trumpeter, was also a classmate of his. And when he left Cass Technical School, he was playing in the orchestra there. Oh, by the way, when he was doing that, he started studying with the principal bass player from the Detroit Philharmonic. So he was really, really well-trained, amazing bassist. And he moved to New York in 1955. He was 20 years old, and he wound up later that year joining the Miles Davis Quintet. And that's where he really, really got famous. He played with Miles from 1955 to 1963. And he played bass on all those seminal recordings. The first was on the Prestige label, Steamin', Workin', Relaxin', and Cookin', which are all these great Miles Davis quintet records with what was called the first great quintet. It was Miles, Coltrane, Red Garland, Philly Joe Jones drums, and Paul Chambers bass. He also played on the album Kind of Blue, which is still, to the best of my knowledge, the best-selling jazz album of all time. In fact, when people ask me, hey, what do I listen to like get into jazz? Like, I'm interested. Get Kind of Blue. Just put it on, listen to it from beginning to end, because it's the most amazing record. And it was just this, if you know the story behind it, Miles just kind of came in with these sketches. There was nothing really written out, and it was just this serendipitous, amazing music happened. And so Paul Chambers, and he wound up being, recording on over 100 records. And he left Miles Davis, and he played in the Wynton Kelly Trio for many years and the Red Garland Trio. He played on John Coltrane's seminal recordings. So he was amazing. And later on in his life, as the musical taste changed, he didn't want to play electric bass. He didn't really want to change what he was doing, and it was so hip and beautiful, he shouldn't have felt the need to. But unfortunately, he kind of fell into, not the best times at the end of his life. And he died pretty young when he was 33 years old of tuberculosis. A shame about that, but we have this huge, rich legacy of his music. Paul Chambers. And ironically enough, Ron Carter, the great bass player, also went to Cass Technical. He took Paul Chambers, he took over for Paul Chambers in the school orchestra when Paul moved to New York, and he took over for Paul Chambers when he left Miles Davis, and Ron Carter formed what was called the second great Miles Davis quintet with Ron Carter, Tony Williams, you will hear from later, Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, and Miles. So, yeah, this is Paul Chambers, and he also did a few records as a leader, one of which is called Whims of Chambers, another one, Bass on Top, on the Blue Note record. And I'm going to play a song called Whims of Chambers, which is the, which is the title track to his solo record, Whims of Chambers. It's a little 12-bar blues. I'm going to play the melody, and then we'll blow on it. Thank you. I hope you enjoy.
David Miller on the bass, everybody.
Thank you.
Chris Dawson at the keys. Welcome back. Jason Fabus, Tony Guerrero, Ben Devitt.
All right, hey, we got 3 more tunes for you. I hope you're enjoying the music. I know it's a little different kind of thing. I think it's fun to revisit this music and some of these artists. And I failed to mention a couple things on that last Fat Swallow tune. First of all, this trumpet I was playing. This trumpet is actually from 1919. So it's over 100 years old. It still sounds beautiful. I mean, when somebody else plays it, but it's still a great horn. And also, I forgot to show you that I also brought the handwritten. So this is actually Fats Waller's handwriting on that unfinished song that we performed.
So you
And
can see exactly what part he wrote that doesn't sound great.
Oh, that's right. I can't show them that. Oh, well, maybe I won't put this out front then. So you're free to come check those out afterward. Not check out like library check out, like take it home, but you're free to come up and look at them. Hey, at this point, there's a song that that you all know called "Pennies from Heaven," and Matt Johnson once, many years ago, started singing a different version of it, and I asked him if he would do it tonight, and I ask you again, Matt Johnson, will you do it tonight?
Yes, it will be my pleasure to do it tonight. Thank you. This song, Tony's aware that I sang this song 38 years ago with a band that I used to be in called the Palm Springs Yacht Club. And this...
look at that.
Oh, look at that. Little promo picture from the Palm Springs Yacht Club.
Which one is you?
The skinny one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a fantastic group. There's very little recording. We did one album in Japan, and there's a couple of YouTube clips of us on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, and then we toured with Julie Andrews
Jethro Tull
as a warm-up act for a while. And anyway, these guys sang hot jazz tunes from the 20s and 30s, like Bing Crosby's Rhythm Boys and the Boswell Sisters and that kind of thing. But I couldn't articulate it then, but I realized much later that my ear was drawn to the more modern singers, and including this next vocalist. I'm going to let the cat right out of the bag. This is a version of the very popular tune Pennies from Heaven, written by Arthur Johnson and Johnny Burke. Now, some people think that this is a parody of the song, but it's actually a tribute to the song Pennies from Heaven, written in the vocalese style. Now, vocalese is a singing style that you may very well be aware of, but you just don't know. Vocalese uses recognizable lyrics as opposed to nonsensical scat syllables. They use recognizable lyrics, and it's sung to either pre-existing instrumental melodies or otherwise famous improvised solos. The word vocalese is a play on a musical term, vocalize, and the suffix "ease" is meant to invoke a kind of language, and that term was attributed to Jon Hendricks when he was describing the first album by Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, entitled "Sing a Song of Basie." King Pleasure is recognized for really pioneering these styles with several recordings starting back in 1949. And some of the best-known vocalese practitioners and popularizers are the aforementioned Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, Bob Dorough, Al Jarreau, Mark Murphy, the Manhattan Transfer, who won a Grammy for their arrangement of Weather Report's Birdland with vocalese lyrics by Jon Hendricks.
How long are your notes over there?
Just relax. Did you hear the bass players? Jeez, I went to sleep during the bass players' rap.
We've only got 3 songs left. We're going to be here 2 more hours, everybody.
Well, you know what? We'll watch the tape back. We'll see which one of us spoke the longest tonight, Tony. So, Weird Al Yankovic could be considered a modern-day vocalese artist, and as was the singer of this next song. His name was Eddie Jefferson, and Eddie Jefferson was born in 1918. He was an American jazz vocalist, credited as an early innovator of vocalese, and tragically he was shot and killed outside of Baker's Keyboard Lounge in May of 1979 by a disgruntled dancer whom he once worked with and got fired from a gig. He was 60 years old, and now I regret telling you that last part. I hope you will enjoy this next selection that we rehearsed exactly once. Hang on, everybody. Now, a long time ago, a second lieutenant named Spears, he returned to the States after being overseas 3 years. His wife said, welcome home, dear. And since you've been gone, you see, we've been blessed with a darling baby, and a cute little one is he. She took the baby in her arms and said, Benny is his name. He said, but I went away 3 years, darling, can't you please explain? So I won't feel so dumb. Tell me, where did little Benny come from? And every time he asked, she said, Benny's from heaven. His face got red, but still she repeatedly said, Benny's from heaven. He said, I've asked the neighbors that come around, but no one can seem to remember Benny coming down. Now he said about a little thing like this, I ordinarily shouldn't bother. But what little I know about kids, I'm sure they gotta have fathers. And when I look at Benny, I can't plainly see Benny must be from heaven, 'cause he sure the hell ain't from me. Somebody blow. Now trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the thing you love, you gotta have showers. So when you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be bands from heaven for you and me. Yeah. Now there's only one way I know about having a baby, and I just don't understand.
Matt Johnson. Benny's from heaven. That leads us to another song Matt's going to lead out on that also has the word heaven in the title. Take it away, Matt.
Well, back to Tony's original mandate to have a song with a drum solo. And he said, do you know any songs that have like a famous drum solo? And this one struck me because it was a tune that I had fun playing when I was in college, but it's got drum breaks in the melody, in what we call the head. The melody part, the part you sing to, it's got drum breaks in it. Anyway, the drummer on this was Tony Williams. And Tony Williams is a fantastic legend of the American drum set. And he was born, I don't know when he was born. Anyway, I thought I had that here. But anyway, Tony Williams was born in Chicago, and he grew up in Boston. He studied with the famous drumming Yoda, Alan Dawson. And he began playing professionally at age 11. And at age 13, he began working with saxophonist Sam Rivers. And by 16, with Jackie McLean. And in 1962, at the ripe old age of 17, he famously joined Miles Davis in what would later be dubbed the second great quintet, with saxophonist Wayne Shorter, pianist Herbie Hancock, and bassist Ron Carter. He was an influential drummer who lived and worked right at the historic crossroads, important historic crossroads of modern jazz and what would eventually be called fusion. I was going to list some of his collaborators, but there's just too many. I counted over 85 albums that he recorded. Didn't just appear on them. He recorded 85 full albums, and with a modest 8 tracks per album, that's nearly 700 songs that he appears on. So I'm going to try and play like a 17-year-old here on this famous jazz standard called 7 Steps to Heaven. Got, bass, go. Thank you. And Tony, if I may,
Matt Johnson.
Sorry, I know we're short on time. I don't know if she got the proper introduction here, but the woman who introduced us was, of course, 3-time Grammy nominated and 4-time American Gospel Association Dove Award recipient, Crystal Lewis, who will be here with my band in 2 weeks. So please come back and hear Swingin' the Disney Songbook. Thank you. Now back to our regular program.
To close off the night, we would like to do a song that I'm going to ask Ben to sing with me. That's right, with me. I'm going to sing. I didn't say it's going to be good. I think Jason should stand up too. We should end the night standing. You know, I don't. We just sat down tonight. It felt like sitting down, so I'm not sure why. But we're going to stand up for this last one. But this particular song is a classic old song. Now Ben had already brought up the great Jack Teagarden, and he mentioned how Jack and Louis Armstrong had a terrific relationship over the years, and they performed together many times. This was probably the classic song that Jack and Louis Armstrong would sing together. Now, if you've ever heard me, quote unquote, sing, it's probably been on one song, which I like to do at the end of some of my shows, and I do it because it's fun, not because I think it's that good. But I do a little Louis Armstrong thing, and I've been asked over the years to record that. Like, people have said, hey, would you come sing that on my thing? And I always say no, because it's not really, like, I don't really think it's that good. I don't want people to think I take it too seriously. It's just sort of a fun thing that I do. Oh, look at that. This is Golden, by the way, who's running sound tonight.
Yeah.
So I always say no until in 2017, I got asked to sing the duet on an album by Mr. Dick Van Dyke. And I said, absolutely, I am not going to say no to that. Is there a photo? Well, I think we have a photo of both Jack and Louis together. Wait, do we have a photo? Have we lost contact with Houston? Jack and Louis, and then me and Dick Van Dyke. So if you ever want to hear that recording, that one is, and I also thought this would be fun. I'm going to play this for you too. I'm just going to play a little voicemail that I saved, that when Dick Van Dyke calls you and you hear his voice on the phone, like, what a cool thing. Oh, whoops, I think I just called him by accident. That was not what I meant to do.
Well, there's no way he's up, so go ahead.
Yeah. Wait, where is it?
And that's the entire message, folks.
Yeah.
And he deleted it.
All right. Well, you don't get to hear it. I'm not going to stand up here and do that. But yeah, he might call back. Anyways, I got to record this with him. It's on his album. If you look on all the streaming and YouTube, whatever, it's up there, and it's Dick Van Dyke, Old Rockin' Chair. And I'm going to ask Ben to do the Jack Teagarden part, and I'm going to do the Tony Guerrero part from the Dick Van Dyke recording. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Old rocking chairs got me.
Old rocking chairs got you.
Got my cane by my side.
Got your cane by your side.
Fetch me that water, son.
Oh, you know you don't drink water.
Oh, yes, I do. Before I tan your hide.
I'd like to see you try.
I can't get from this cabin.
Oh, it's a pretty nice cabin.
I ain't going nowhere.
You've been enough places already.
That's true. I'm just sitting here grabbing at the flies around this old rocking chair.
A rocking chair, a rocking chair.
Now, you remember dear old Aunt Harriet?
I remember Aunt Harriet, sure do.
How long in heaven she be?
Well, we're just hoping that's where she is.
Yeah. Send me down the sweet chariot.
I'll send a limo for you.
For the end of the trouble I see.
End of troubles
Oh, rocking chair gets it.
Oh, rocking chair's got you.
Judgment Day is here.
Judgment Day.
And so I'm chained to my old rocking chair. Dear old Aunt Harriet.
I think the whole band remembers Aunt Harriet.
Oh, yeah, we sure do. Way up in heaven she be. Oh, send me down that sweet chariot.
I'm in a chariot.
For the end of the trouble I see.
End of the trouble I
Oh, rocking chair gets it.
Rocking chair's got you.
Got the judgment day. Judgment Day is here.
Judgment Day is here.
And so I'm chained to my old rocking chair.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Matt Johnson on the drums, Chris Dawson on the piano, David Miller on the bass, Jason Fabus on the saxophone, Mr. Ben Devitt on the trombone. My name is Tony Guerrero. Thank you again for indulging us on this very unique night of music for us, and we hope you've enjoyed that. Ladies and gentlemen, Krista Lewis.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you guys so much. Wow! I didn't know all y'all could sing. That was amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here this evening. Get your tickets to whatever is left in July, mainly Thursday the 16th. And get your Jazz Pass for August, and we'll see you guys back here again. Thank you so much.